Congratulations. You've just opened your eyes as a gladiator, awakening inside a Roman Ludus, sometime in the early 2nd century. The good news. You're about to witness one of the most fascinating and iconic chapters of history firsthand. The bad news? Your odds of survival have just dropped significantly. Your first moments in this new life are marked by sensations more intense and raw than you might have imagined. Before even fully waking, you're struck by the overpowering aroma. But not the romanticized fragrances of exotic Roman perfumes or the pleasant scent of olive groves and freshly baked bread that you might have dreamed of. Instead, the air is thick with the acrid stench of sweat, moldy straw, and something unsettlingly metallic, perhaps dried blood clinging stubbornly to the stone walls around you. You rise slowly from your bed, which is not so much a bed as a thin, straw-filled pallet laid upon a rough wooden platform. The straw beneath you rustles uncomfortably, poking through the worn fabric, scratching your skin and irritating half-healed wounds from yesterday's brutal training session. If you're lucky, there might be just enough fabric left intact to prevent direct contact with crawling insects that seem determined to share your bed. But luck is fleeting here, a precious commodity rarely extended to gladiators. Around you, your fellow fighters begin their own weary morning routines. The quarters are dim, lit faintly by pale shafts of daylight filtering through high, narrow windows near the ceiling. These windows aren't meant for your comfort, but rather designed to prevent escape. Their unreachable height reminds you daily that you are captive, your life owned and controlled by others. Stretching your aching limbs, you take stock of your body, feeling each bruise, every sprain, and the persistent soreness of muscles relentlessly pushed to their limits. Gladiatorial training was designed explicitly to prepare you for one purpose: survival in the deadly theater of combat. Each injury you endure today is a bitter reminder of your mortality. There is no such thing as ergonomic comfort in this harsh reality. Your body is simply a tool, sharpened, broken, and rebuilt continuously until it either triumphs or shatters entirely. The floors beneath your bare feet are cold, rough stone slabs worn smooth by the passing of countless gladiators before you, many who never returned from the arena. A draft, damp and penetrating, seeps in from somewhere unseen, making you shiver slightly. Rome's Mediterranean climate can be deceptively harsh, especially within the stone confines of the Ludus, which remain cool even as the morning outside brightens and warms. During winter, these barracks turn frigid, forcing gladiators to sleep close together, simply to avoid freezing overnight. During summer, they're stifling hot, filled with suffocating humidity that makes every breath laborious. Personal hygiene, as you quickly realize, isn't high on the priority list. Water, though seemingly abundant in Rome, isn't wasted on frequent bathing within the gladiatorial schools. You and your companions bathe perhaps once every few weeks if you're fortunate. Even then, it's a hurried ritual, more practical than refreshing. Communal buckets of cold water splashed over your bodies hardly wash away the grime, sweat, and blood that accumulates from daily combat drills. The lingering odor is a constant companion, embedding itself into every surface, garment, and pore of your skin. Your stomach growls, interrupting your reflections and signaling that it's time for your first meal of the day. You join a line of gladiators, slowly moving toward the mess hall, a bleak, crowded room filled with rough wooden tables and benches worn smooth by generations of use. The food here, while adequate in calories, is monotonous and intentionally simple. Typically, you're served a thick, flavorless porridge of barley or grain, boiled to a gummy consistency. Sometimes this bland meal is supplemented by small portions of salted fish or tough, heavily seasoned meat that's difficult to identify clearly. The Roman understanding of nutrition, though primitive by modern standards, acknowledged that gladiators required substantial diets to maintain their fighting weight and stamina. Despite your dreams of lavish Roman feasts filled with exotic fruits, olives, honeyed wines, and roasted meats, the reality is disappointingly sparse. Gladiators were commonly known as barley men because their diet was predominantly grains, providing the slow, steady energy necessary to survive extended fights. Fresh fruits and vegetables were rare luxuries reserved only for the best gladiators or special occasions. The risk of illness or nutritional deficiencies like scurvy was ever present even in the wealthiest Roman Ludus. You wash down this mundane breakfast with pusca, sour concoction of watered-down wine mixed with vinegar. It's harsh, acidic, and leaves a bitter aftertaste, but it effectively kills bacteria and quenches your thirst. The Romans prized posca for its practicality, even if its taste could hardly be described as enjoyable. You sip it dutifully, knowing this beverage may be your only source of hydration throughout the arduous training sessions ahead. While finishing your meal, you glance around at your fellow gladiators. Each man around you represents a spectrum of backgrounds: captured prisoners of war, condemned criminals, slaves sold into gladiatorial service, and even freeborn Romans who voluntarily signed their freedom away in pursuit of glory or financial stability. Yet in this moment, your differences matter little. Survival in the Ludus binds you into an uneasy camaraderie, a shared sense of fate, however grim or hopeful. As the morning advances, you mentally prepare for the hours of grueling training awaiting you. This daily regimen will push you beyond exhaustion, into a state where pain becomes routine and suffering is endured silently, stoically. Your lanista, the strict owner and trainer of your Ludus, ensures this discipline. He watches carefully for weakness or defiance, neither tolerated nor forgiven. In these early morning moments as the Ludus awakens, you realize that each day lived here is an exercise in balancing fear and courage, despair and hope. Every gladiator who rises beside you understands this implicitly. Your goal isn't just survival, though. Survival is paramount, but also to gain the fleeting promise of respect, admiration, and perhaps someday, freedom. Your chances of making it through even a single fight may feel slim, yet you steel yourself against that uncertainty. Today, like every day in this brutal world, is another test. You stand, wipe your hands clean on your coarse linen tunic, and prepare to face whatever the training ground brings. Because in ancient Rome, as a gladiator, your only true guarantee is that each day could very well be your last. After your stark awakening in the Ludus, the reality of your existence as a gladiator quickly settles in. Training here is not merely preparation. It's your daily life, your purpose, your relentless pursuit. Each sunrise signifies not leisure or possibility, but a return to the rigorous, unyielding routine designed to transform men into warriors who could captivate and survive within the arena's brutal embrace. Stepping into the training yard, you're immediately immersed in an atmosphere charged with sweat, dust, and determination. The yard itself is expansive, bordered by high stone walls, dotted with training posts, wooden targets, sandy arenas where mock combats unfold relentlessly. Trainers, known as doctors, patrol the yard, their critical eyes scanning every movement, correcting form, refining techniques, and demanding perfection through relentless repetition. Your training begins with conditioning exercises, designed to enhance strength, endurance, and agility. You're required to carry heavy wooden beams across your shoulders, dragging weights tied to ropes, running endless laps around the perimeter, and performing countless push-ups and squats under the scorching sun. The purpose is clear: to forge your body into an unbreakable instrument of combat. Once your muscles are sufficiently warmed in, exhausted combat drills begin. The doctors introduce you to the various fighting styles, each distinct, carrying its own unique weapons, tactics, and protective gear. You might become a murmillo, heavily armored and wielding a gladius and a large rectangular shield. Or perhaps you're trained as a retiarius, lightly armored, swift, armed with a net, trident, and dagger, relying on agility and cunning rather than brute force. Other gladiators, like the Threx, equipped with a small, square shield and curved blade, focus on agility combined with calculated aggression. Regardless of your assigned role, mastery of your weapons and techniques becomes paramount. Hours pass as you practice repetitive movements: thrust, parry, dodge over until your body reacts instinctively. Your doctors shout precise instructions, their voices stern but steady, demanding absolute precision. Mistakes are swiftly punished with additional exercises, or worse, lashes, reinforcing discipline through pain. Combat simulations, known as sparring, form the core of your training regimen. Gladiators pair off, facing opponents chosen to enhance their strengths and exploit their weaknesses. These fights are mock battles, but they are anything but gentle. Real weapons are replaced by wooden, replica-weighted, blunt instruments capable of delivering severe bruises and fractures. Injuries during training are common, expected, even viewed as necessary trials to harden you for the brutal realities of true combat. Your sparring sessions are closely supervised by doctors who intervene to correct errors, demonstrate proper techniques, and prevent unnecessary harm, though not always successfully. Through these endless skirmishes, you develop essential skills: quick thinking, adaptability, and the ability to read an opponent's intentions from subtle movements. Each bruise and scrape is a harsh teacher, embedding crucial lessons into your muscles and memory. Mental discipline is equally critical. Gladiatorial combat is not merely physical. Psychological strength often determines survival. Doctors teach you to suppress fear, manage anxiety, and embrace a calm detachment, even in the face of imminent danger. Meditation-like exercises are incorporated into your daily routine, helping you visualize combat scenarios, preparing your mind for the unpredictability and emotional intensity of the arena. Occasionally, wealthy Roman patrons visit the Ludus to observe your training. Their presence elevates the intensity as each gladiator strives to showcase their prowess, hoping to attract sponsorship and better treatment. The attention of patrons can mean improved living conditions, superior nutrition, and possibly even an eventual path toward freedom. Your every move is magnified under their watchful eyes, pushing you to exceed your limits despite the exhaustion. Meals remain sparse, yet nourishing, designed explicitly to sustain your physical demands without luxury. Gladiators commonly eat a diet rich in carbohydrates, primarily barley and beans, supplemented by occasional protein from salted fish or meats. Such simplicity ensures you remain robust, enduring the prolonged physical strain without unnecessary excess weight. As daylight fades and training concludes, your battered and weary body retreats to the quiet solitude of your quarters. Here, you clean your wounds with cold water, binding bruises and sprains with strips of cloth. The gladiatorial life, you quickly realize, is a perpetual cycle of damage and healing, a never-ending test of resilience and recovery. Yet despite this harsh existence, moments of camaraderie quietly flourish. Conversations in hushed tones filled the evening air, sharing tactics, strategies, and sometimes stories from lives lived before the Ludus. Friendships form subtly, built on mutual respect and shared hardship, providing small but vital emotional sustenance amidst the harsh daily grind. As you drift toward sleep, exhaustion heavy upon you, the day's lessons replay in your mind. Tomorrow promises more of the same painful repetition, meticulous training, and incremental progress. Survival hinges on your willingness to endure, adapt, and persevere. For a gladiator, each day of training isn't merely preparation, it's a relentless, disciplined struggle for survival itself. Having endured relentless days of training and discipline, you now find yourself at the precipice of gladiatorial combat. Standing at the threshold between life and death, the imposing gates of the Colosseum looming before you. The roar of thousands of spectators floods your ears, resonating through the stone corridors where you wait anxiously for your moment to step onto the sands. The Colosseum is both uninspiring and terrifying. It's built to hold tens of thousands. Its immense stone structure is a marvel of Roman engineering and power. Yet its beauty is starkly contrasted by its brutal purpose: entertainment through violence and death. As you stand in the shadowy corridor beneath the arena, you can feel the ground tremble from the stamping feet and voices roaring with anticipation, hungry for spectacle. Preparation for the arena is ritualistic, infused with both practical and symbolic significance. You don your battle gear meticulously, armor polished to reflect the sunlight, weapons sharpened to perfection. Your armor varies depending on your gladiator class. Perhaps you're a murmillo encased in heavy bronze armor, helmet adorned with a distinctive fish motif, your large shield and short sword ready to meet any threat. Or you might be a lightly armored resiarius, net neatly folded, trident grasped firmly, agile and swift. Your heart pounds steadily as attendants finalize your preparations. Oil is applied to your skin, gleaming under the bright sun, making your body appear strong, fierce, and godlike to spectators. This moment is both exhilarating and harrowing, knowing well that each step forward brings you closer to mortal peril. Suddenly, the gates swing open, flooding your vision with blinding daylight and the deafening cheer of the crowd. The noise hits you physically, vibrating through your chest, overwhelming your senses briefly. Stepping onto the sands, you squint, adjusting quickly to the dazzling brightness. Around you, the Colosseum rises majestically, tier upon tier of spectators packed tightly, their faces filled with excitement, anticipation, and sometimes cruel delight. You move cautiously, scanning the arena, eyes locking onto your opponent, figure equally tense, focused, and prepared. Your training kicks in, and the crowd, though thunderous, slowly fades into a muted background hum as your focus sharpens. Every sense is heightened. The warmth of the sun on your skin, the gritty texture of the sand beneath your feet. Even the subtle shifts of your opponent's stance become vivid and clear. Combat begins swiftly, each move critical and potentially fatal. Your muscles respond instinctively, recalling endless hours of drills and mock battles. The clash of weapons echoes across the arena, metal striking metal, shields splintering, nets being cast and evaded. You dodge, parry, strike, and withdraw in rapid succession, each action deliberate, each breath measured. Despite rigorous training, injuries in the arena are inevitable and common. Pain becomes a companion as you endure cuts, bruises, or worse, more severe wounds that threaten your very life. Medical treatment, such as it is, awaits just beyond the arena gates, primitive by modern standards, often inadequate. Surgeons in the Ludus are swift and practical, employing basic treatments like stitching wounds without anesthesia or crude cauterization to stop bleeding. Infection, a feared and frequent outcome, is often deadlier than the wounds themselves. Within the arena, the crowd's reactions are both motivating and daunting. Cheers erupt at impressive displays of skill or bravery. Jeers and ridicule rain down at perceived cowardice or failure. Roman society's appetite for spectacle means gladiators must balance aggression and showmanship carefully. Now, knowing the favor of the crowd can influence their fate, sometimes literally deciding life or death through gestures, thumbs up or thumbs down. As combat continues, fatigue sets in, testing your endurance and resolve. Every breath burns, muscles ache intensely, yet surrender isn't an option. Survival demands relentless determination, cunning strategy, and unwavering courage. Victory in the Colosseum grants prestige and fleeting admiration, though always accompanied by the grim knowledge that another fight awaits. Ultimately, the battle concludes. Your fate hanging precariously upon the whims of the crowd and the decision of the editor, the person hosting the games, often a wealthy nobleman, or even the emperor himself. Victorious gladiators might gain small privileges or tokens of respect. Defeated warriors face mercy, slavery, or death. Exiting the arena, either triumphant or humbled, you're painfully aware that gladiatorial life offers no certainties beyond constant struggle and danger. Each combat scars your body, tests your spirit, and reminds you starkly of your mortality. Yet, in surviving another day, you've gained something invaluable: experience and the slimmest hope of eventual freedom. Tomorrow, the cycle of rigorous training resumes, another step toward your uncertain destiny. In the relentless world of gladiators, each sunrise marks not only survival but another opportunity to fight, to endure, and perhaps one day to live free again. Surviving the arena's brutal encounters is undeniably the most critical aspect of a gladiator's existence. Yet your life extends far beyond mere battles. Socially, gladiators occupy a unique, complex status within Roman society, simultaneously admired and scorned, exalted yet enslaved. As a gladiator, you are paradoxically both celebrity and outcast. Roman citizens, from the poorest plebeians to the wealthiest patricians, fill the arena to witness your battles. Captivated by your skill, bravery, and sheer resilience. Yet outside the arena, society views you with a mixture of respect, fascination, and disdain. You are admired for your prowess and bravery, yet looked down upon due to your enslaved status and the violent nature of your profession. Within the Ludus, relationships with fellow gladiators provide essential emotional connections. You develop friendships based on mutual respect, shared hardships, and the collective pursuit of survival and occasional joy. Though rivalry can flare, camaraderie is more common, formed during communal meals, quiet conversations at day's end, and shared experiences on the sands. Gladiators often help each other train, share strategies, and offer support in moments of vulnerability or defeat. Interactions with the Roman elite, add another layer to your complex social world. Wealthy patrons regularly visit the Ludus, observing training sessions, choosing favored gladiators, and placing wagers on upcoming matches. Impressing such patrons can significantly alter your experience, bringing improved living conditions, better meals, medical care, or even sponsorship toward eventual freedom. Patrons occasionally host private events, inviting gladiators as entertainment or conversation pieces, where you must balance demonstrating your worth with maintaining humility and obedience. Occasional festivals and public celebrations grant you brief reprieves from relentless training. These events often involve feasts featuring rare delicacies, music, and other entertainments rare, moments when gladiators experience a glimpse of the pleasures enjoyed by Roman citizens. However, even during festivities, your status remains evident. A stark reminder of the invisible barrier separating you from genuine freedom or social equality. Daily routines in the Ludus also include limited leisure time. Gladiators commonly engage in games of dice, simple board games, or storytelling, recounting past lives, battles, or legends passed down through generations. Such leisure activities provide vital emotional relief from the constant tension of combat preparation, fostering deeper bonds among gladiators and alleviating the psychological pressures of your brutal lifestyle. Moreover, some gladiators maintain personal rituals or spiritual practices, which many offer quiet prayers to favored gods or goddesses for strength, protection, and victory. Temples and shrines, though modest, exist within or near the Ludus, places where gladiators leave offerings or seek divine favor before matches. Religion offers comfort, structure, and meaning, providing psychological reassurance amid an unpredictable, perilous existence. Though admired by many Romans, your existence remains firmly controlled by the lanista, the owner and overseer of the gladiatorial school. The lanista holds absolute authority over your daily life, deciding everything from your meals and training schedules to when and where you fight. His power is absolute, backed by Roman law, and defiance or rebellion typically results in harsh punishments or execution. Despite these restrictions, you find subtle ways to assert individuality and agency. Gladiators often adopt distinctive personal markings, symbols, or battle cries, creating an identity recognizable to spectators and peers alike. Victorious gladiators gain increased freedom in choices selecting preferred armor or weapons, training partners, or even influencing combat pairings to enhance their chances of survival. Sleep eventually finds you each night, exhaustion overcoming physical pain, emotional strain, and constant uncertainty. Yet, before drifting off, your thoughts often wander dreaming briefly of freedom, imagining life beyond combat, or recalling moments of triumph in the arena. These dreams, however fleeting, sustain you, offering quiet hope and motivation to face another relentless day. Ultimately, a gladiator's social life and daily existence are defined by contradictions and complexities. While admired for bravery and skill, you remain perpetually enslaved, simultaneously cherished and disposable. Your relationships, friendships, rivalries, interactions with patrons form the intricate tapestry of a life overshadowed by perpetual risk, yet punctuated by brief moments of connection, dignity, and humanity. In navigating these delicate balances, you find not only survival, but glimpses of genuine meaning amid the harsh reality of gladiatorial life. As days blur into months and even years, every gladiator carries a singular dream, the tantalizing promise of freedom. In the harsh environment of the Ludus, survival alone is a daunting task. Yet the faint hope of eventual liberation keeps your spirit alive. This dream, fragile yet powerful, inspires you to endure suffering, master combat, and strive continually toward victory. Freedom is achievable in several ways. Occasionally, exceptional gladiators are awarded the Ludus, a symbolic wooden sword representing emancipation. Achieving such distinction requires consistently extraordinary performance, bravery in combat, and the unwavering favor of patrons and spectators alike. Gladiators who receive the Ludus may retire honorably, though reintegration into Roman society is seldom easy, given lingering social stigma and the physical and psychological scars they bear. Glory and fame are compelling motivators in the gladiatorial world. Successful fighters often achieve celebrity status, their names celebrated across Rome, their likenesses carved into statues, painted onto pottery, and shouted passionately within the arena. This fame brings temporary rewards, better living conditions, improved treatment, increased influence, and even invitations to exclusive social gatherings. Gladiators like Spartacus, Flama, and Crixus became legendary, remembered not just for their combat skills, but for their dramatic lives, struggles, and rebellions. Yet fame carries burdens, as well as privileges. The expectations placed upon celebrated gladiators are immense, each battle increasing pressure to maintain their reputation. Losing a match, or worse, failing to entertain spectators sufficiently. Risks losing public favor, dangerous situation, given the crowd's power to influence life or death decisions. Maintaining fame requires constant vigilance, strategic combat, and managing both the audience's emotions and the unpredictable whims of influential patrons. Survival, however, remains your most immediate and critical concern. Gladiators face extraordinarily low survival rates. Every match is a potentially lethal encounter, every injury a threat that could prematurely end your career or your life. The harshness of gladiatorial existence means many fighters never achieve their dreams of freedom or lasting fame. Their lives cut short by injuries, illness, or defeat within the unforgiving sands of the arena. Gladiators often cling to personal rituals or superstitions, hoping these practices might grant an edge or invite divine favor. Small charms, talismans, prayers whispered in quiet solitude before battle. Each gladiator finds unique comfort and confidence in such habits. These practices embody hope and desperation, reminders of their constant vulnerability and the ever-present possibility of death. Reflecting on your experiences, you recognize the stark contrast between gladiatorial reality and popular Roman perceptions. Society romanticizes your role, portraying gladiators as fearless, honorable warriors engaged in noble struggles. The truth, as you know intimately, is grittier, fraught with fear, uncertainty, and brutality. Every gladiator's story is marked by profound suffering, resilience, and occasional moments of triumph, humanizing a profession defined by spectacle and violence. Contemplating your legacy, you're aware of the fragility and impermanence of gladiatorial fame. No, statues crumble, memories fade, and new heroes rise to replace the old. Yet, the moments of genuine triumph, camaraderie, and personal growth experienced amid the harsh conditions of the Ludus and arena remain meaningful. Your legacy, even if modest, is the courage, determination, and dignity with which you faced an extraordinarily difficult existence. As you drift towards sleep, dreams are filled with visions of freedom, walking openly through Rome's crowded streets without chains or armor. Owning your life fully, making choices guided by desire rather than survival alone. These dreams, while elusive, provide comfort and motivation, reminding you of what you fight for daily. Ultimately, the gladiator's life is one of contrasts, brutality, and grace. Despair and hope, captivity and dreams of liberation. Your survival, however uncertain, demonstrates remarkable human endurance and resilience. Each battle fought, each day survived, brings you incrementally closer to the ultimate goal: freedom. Whether achieved or not, the relentless pursuit shapes you profoundly, transforming you from mere fighter into a symbol of strength, resilience, and human spirit, forever remembered within the sands of the arena.